The security environment in Bosnia-Herzegovina is constantly changing. It's also uncertain at times. And so nobody could have forecasted 15 months ago that there would be a pandemic of COVID-19 worldwide, but yet here we are. And so armed forces everywhere have been involved in combating the COVID-19 threat, delivering aid at the right time, at the right place. And having a military that's capable of doing so is incumbent upon every civilized nation, and Bosnia-Herzegovina would be no different. The military forces that are being built here are capable of doing exactly that. NATO is very important to a country like BiH. If you look at the NATO environment up in Brussels, every country, every member of the NATO family has a seat at the table. All the nations maintain offices in Brussels, and even a Partnership for Peace country, which is what BiH is, has an office with an ambassador, with a military attaché. They are plugged into the NATO environment. And when you look at the capabilities that that brings back to BiH within the institutions of the state, protecting human rights, delivery of justice, and protecting the economy, building the economy up, that's truly the benefit and the value of NATO within BiH. BiH already has a very credible military force right now, but it is undervalued, it is underfunded at the moment. But being part of NATO, if you look at all the countries that have gone through that integration process, economies have actually taken off. Environments become more secure, investment comes in, and the idea that you cannot then afford a credible military force to take part in NATO activities is probably just a little undersided. I see the same thing coming into BiH eventually, that this environment is stable, investments take off, the economy does better, and that tide will lift all boats at the same time. NATO has a very good relationship with Serbia. NATO recognizes that Serbia has a role of neutrality in the Western Balkans, that they value that position very highly. But NATO recognizes that Serbia is an economic powerhouse. Serbia maintains a military that's very capable, very strong force structure. We see cooperation going forward. We see dialogue occurring at all levels with NATO partners and Serbia. In fact, Serbia maintains an office in Brussels at NATO headquarters. And that's the key to maintaining the open dialogue to prevent any misunderstandings in cooperation or messaging. And so we find it very helpful to have that cooperation. NATO member nations participate in military-to-military exchanges with Serbia, in Serbia. So it's a very healthy relationship. And NATO recognizes that Serbia, just like any other nation, will choose its own level of activity with NATO. Well, certainly, I think the last 15 months have been extremely trying for BiH as well as the rest of the world with COVID-19. Economies have been suppressed. Things are no different here in BiH. Life has been very, very difficult for the people. I see us coming out of it right now, though. Vaccines are arriving. The COVAX is coming online. And people very soon will start to recover in the economy. And NATO processes are happening right now all along. BIH has made tremendous strides in a reform plan with NATO, producing tangible, real effects. It's going to take time. We're still in a multi-year cycle, but I see a great outcome on the horizon for BIH.